Call of Duty Cold War. More specifically, zombies. Even more specifically than that, Outbreak. Depending on who you ask, this is either the best mode that Treyarch has ever given us, or one of the worst. Many people praise it for how open it is, and show it as proof that a zombies campaign in Call of Duty could work. And many people claim that it is the worst thing that Treyarch has ever done to zombies, bastardizing the experience and giving us a bland and boring world to explore. Well, multiple worlds to be exact. But why is this? Why is it so divided? Hello everybody, my name is Rando Calrissian, and today we are going to be talking about Zombies Cold War Outbreak. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And we'll come to a conclusion on why this mode is so divided, and why so many people refer to it as the best and as the worst. So without further ado, let's delve in to the review on Call of Duty Cold War Zombies Outbreak. At the time of recording this video, Call of Duty Cold War is 4 years old, which is honestly kind of crazy to think about. And to be 100% honest with you, I've been wanting to do this review since Outbreak's inception. The amount of hours that I've sunken into this mode is quite astonishing. It even amazes me sometimes. And I've always really enjoyed this mode. I've honestly never had anything bad to say about it. But imagine my surprise when I realized that many people don't see it that way. Again, many people see this as a bastardized version of zombies, an embarrassment to the mode, and that Treyarch should never go back to it. But why is that? Why do so many people hate it? Well, as the title screen suggested, this is going to be a raw, unbiased review of this mode. I'm putting my personal biases aside and analyzing this for what it is, not what I think of it. So with that out of the way, let's get into the bad. Without a shadow of a doubt, one of Outbreak's worst features is how empty it is. There's nothing. No NPCs of any kind, just you and the zombies. And in a small, cramped, condensed space like a round base map, like Die Machina or Firebase Z, that absolutely works. But in an open space, like Outbreak, it does not. It just makes the experience feel lonely and empty. There's nothing to see, there's nothing to do. It also doesn't help that the world is completely open from the get-go. There are no barriers to unlock, nothing to open. Everything is open to the player. And it just feels, I don't know, wrong somehow. Like, there's nothing to do. There's nothing to see. Because once you've seen it all. There's no challenge for the player to unlock anything. Everything is open up to you. And again, how empty it is just doesn't help it. I mean, look at this. I am in one of the biggest maps right now, Sanatorium, and there's nothing. There's nobody. Except maybe some zombies and some hellhounds. But other than that, I'm completely alone. It doesn't give you a feeling of isolation, it's a feeling of laziness. Like, just the developers couldn't be bothered to put anybody else in there. No NPCs, nothing for you to go to. Again, just you and the zombies. It doesn't feel earned. It doesn't feel right. The flow is weird because of it. And it just, I don't know, again, feels lazy. Now compare Outbreak's sense of loneliness to a game like Shadow of the Colossus. Its sense of loneliness is very much intentional, not by a lazy part on the developers. Everything that you see here is meant to be this way. The quietness, the stillness, There's not even a breeze in the air. Everything is meant to make you feel alone and isolated. Just look at the sky. Everything about it just screams you're not supposed to be here. That bright spot and the clouds that surround it. It's like you're breaking some sort of sacred covenant just by stepping foot in this land. And everything is working against you to get you out. The feeling of isolation and loneliness in this game is unrivaled, even today. It's why many people consider this game a masterpiece in storytelling. The isolation, again, is very much intentional. It's the part of the storytelling that's important. The entire world tells a story. Your character's body language tells a story. The lack of breeze in the air tells a story. This is a land that was never meant to be visited. It was never meant to be seen. It was never meant to be graced by human presence ever again. And as much as I love Outbreak, there is no visual storytelling of any kind going on in here. There doesn't look like there was an evacuation. It doesn't look like there was a struggle. It's just a story mode or multiplayer map slapped on into zombies. And you know what? That's not okay. That's lazy. The zombies community deserves something way better for being this loyal for this long and turning zombies into what it is today. And to just take a multiplayer map and put zombies in there without the feeling of abandonment, without the feeling of isolation, without the feeling of there being a struggle is honestly kind of disrespectful to your fans. I just don't understand it. I mean, again, you could kind of chalk it up to everybody that was in this town became a zombie, but that doesn't really add up because in this universe, we've already established that a bite can't turn you. It didn't happen to the Premise or Ultimus crew, and they got bit several times. Heck, even somebody in the Victus crew ate zombie flesh and didn't turn into a zombie. In the original storyline, in the original universe, you had to be infected by element 115 and then die in order to become a zombie. In this timeline, or this universe, or whatever you want to call it, I think it's your corpse needs to be exposed to the dark ether. And if that's the case, if everybody in this town died, or everybody in the subsequent towns died, in every single map you go to, show that. Show there being a struggle. Show dead bodies. Show fires in places. Broken buildings. But we get none of that. We just get a little peaceful, quiet town with zombies in it. And it's just lazy. It's boring. And I can understand why people would have a problem with that. Heck, I like Outbreak, and I have a problem with that. So I understand the frustration behind it. Armada is the only map that comes close to visual storytelling in Outbreak Zombies. True, there are ships that are on their belly and submerged in water, but I don't think that this is a result of zombies. Honestly, I'm pretty sure that this is just another multiplayer map with zombies thrown in there, so it doesn't get any brownie points for visual storytelling. It also doesn't help that this is one of the worst maps in Outbreak Zombies. It's the smallest, and it's the least amount of fun because it's easy to escape the zombies. But this isn't the only reason why Outbreak Zombies is so frustrating. There are actually multiple reasons, unfortunately. So let's get into one more of them, shall we? The difficulty curve on Black Ops Cold War Zombies Outbreak is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, look at this. I'm only on World 2 with a pack-a-punch weapon, and I'm completely swarmed by hellhounds, zombies, and disciples. On World 1, I didn't even run into a mimic. It is utterly ridiculous and insane. And I think this is where a lot of the disdain from the mode comes from. Just how difficult it gets so quickly. Honestly, you'll deal with no zombies on the first world, and on the second world, you're dealing with a whole horde of them. Even the Orda in some cases, which is just a little too ridiculous. Take this playthrough for example. I have a ray gun that is pack-a-punch 3 times, and a gun that's pack-a-punch 3 times. And for a lot of enemies, they're no longer one-shots. It takes a couple shots to bring them down. Just a world ago, in World 6, all my guns were one-shots. Now they're really one-shots for the weaker enemies or when I get headshots. But if I don't get headshots and I don't shoot something like an exploding hellhound, it takes a couple shots to bring these enemies down, which is utterly ridiculous. Again, every single weapon I have is Pack-a-Punch 3 times. And, well, they're no longer one-shots, which is honestly kind of crazy. You shouldn't feel weak with a weapon that is Pack-a-Punch 3 times. It's just kind of crazy, especially on World 7. I mean, look at this Toxic Hound. True, I missed him a couple times, but it still took a couple shots to bring him down. He's no longer a one-shot. Keep in mind, that was a Toxic Hound, one of the weaker enemies in zombies, and it took a couple shots to bring him down with a weapon that was Pack-a-Punched 3 times. You should not feel weak with a gun that's Pack-a-Punched 3 times. Now, if you're on World 15, then I can understand why you would feel weak. But on World 7, that's a little ridiculous. I think the counter is every world is like progressing 4 rounds in zombies. And 4 rounds is just too much. Maybe they should, if they try Outbreak again, they should dumb it down to about 2 rounds. Each world is 2 rounds. That would make a lot more sense than having the zombies increase 4 rounds with each world. I don't know, but I just don't like feeling that weak with wonder weapons that are pack-a-punched 3 times. That, to me, my friends, is just a little ridiculous. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get into what I really like about this mode and why I would refer it to about anybody, and why I think it is genuinely one of the best zombie modes we have ever gotten. The replayability in Outbreak Zombies is absolutely fantastic. Probably some of the best we've gotten in any zombies mode ever. It genuinely feels like every time you come back here, there's a mission that needs to be complete. Like you left something there, or like there's someone there that you need to get out. Again, I only wish there was, but it genuinely feels like something is urgent and like you need to do something. There's a reason for you being there. And with the addition of exfilling that they added in this game, it just makes all the more sense. When the world grows too hard, or when it gets too hard for your characters, you exfil to come back another day. Even when you die and you spawn back into the game by picking a new operator or maybe just going back with a new weapon, it feels like someone else has gone there to take their place. Now, I know a lot of people have a problem with the operator system. I genuinely don't really mind it all that much, but I get it. I get why people do have a problem with it. Honestly, I think that there should have been a set crew in Cold War, and I think the set person that you should have played of an Outbreak should have been Samantha Maxis. But that's a discussion for another day. But honestly, I love the replayability in this. It makes a lot of sense why you would be here and why you keep coming back to this place. You're trying to get rid of the ethereal infestation that has taken over. You're trying to understand why these towns are secluded to the infestation and why these are turning into outbreak zones. It makes a lot of sense for your characters to be there. It makes a lot of sense for your characters to be fighting here and to be killing the zombie horde. It just feels right. It feels good. Other than the fact that you are alone, but it still feels really good to be here. The zombies still have the same amount of kick to them, and it still feels good to kill them, to shoot them. True, it does get very hard very quickly, but it's still a lot of fun. And honestly, how open it is helps it. I know I said before that it being this open makes it feel empty, but in later rounds and later worlds, that's kind of a non-factor because of how many zombies there are. Seriously, you get swarmed very easily in later worlds. In earlier worlds, yes, it being this open and being this empty is a problem. But in later worlds, you don't really have that problem at all because everywhere you turn, there's a zombie, or there's a special zombie, or there's a quest to do. That's another thing I really like about Outbreak Zombies. While the quests can definitely feel repetitive at times, I feel as the quests were a really good addition to Outbreak Zombies. And you don't have to do the side quests. Sometimes you can just do the main quests. And while they do get repetitive over time and a lot of them replay themselves, there's enough there to have fun with them for an hour or two, and then exfil and come back to it another day. Another great thing that I love about Outbreak Zombies is the variety of zombies. it's not just limited to one map. You literally get every single zombie that there is to offer in Cold War. You get the mimics, you get the disciples, you even get the abomination from the level Forsaken, and I think that is awesome. I really love that. I really enjoy that. I really like the fact that they put that much variety in the zombies. It's not just limited to one map like it is in round-based maps. You get them all, and it's great. It really gives you that sense that everything in this world is out to kill you. Everything wants you dead, and you're a lone survivor trying just to, well, survive. Now, I understand you can play Outbreak with friends, but I honestly think it's best played by yourself. Because you really do get that sense of, these zombies are here for one thing, to kill you. There's no help of any kind, it's just you and the zombies. And again, in earlier rounds, I cannot stress this enough, that is a little bit of a problem because of how open the world is and how lonely it feels. But in later rounds, when zombies are literally just swarming you from every single side imaginable, it becomes quite difficult. And it really feels like you're in it for yourself. And again, you can exfil, and I really like that because it adds that replayability layer. But it genuinely feels like this world is dangerous. It's not like round-based zombies where you can just kind of quit at any time and there's really no replayability to it. No, no, no. This is world-based zombies. You escape to fight another day, or you die trying. And I love that. So, yeah, I really think that the zombies variety in this and how many zombies just sheerly attack you from every corner, especially on later worlds, is awesome. I do wish they were a little less difficult to kill, though, because it can get very frustrating, but still, I absolutely love it. So, in conclusion, what's the general consensus? Honestly, taking a step back and looking at this from a non-biased point of view, or as non-biased as I can make it, I'm genuinely surprised on how the good points, or I should say bad points, kind of cancel out the good points. Yes, it's open, you feel alone, and in later rounds, that's really good because you're supposed to feel alone when the zombies are running towards you. But its openness also really hurts the game because, again, you feel alone, and the loneliness doesn't really feel intentional, it feels lazy. And that kind of cancels out that good point of it. And yes, there's a lot of zombie variety, but how hard it gets so easily kind of ruins that because they're hard to kill, especially the specialist zombies. Even when you have a pack-a-punch weapon that's pack-a-punch 3 times, it's hard to bring them down, especially on later rounds. A wonder weapon that is pack-a-punch 3 times should not feel weak. So, would I recommend this to everyone? Yes, I would. I think everyone should play it because, well, I'm not going to say everyone should play it, but I think that it's a good thing to experience because it shows us what a zombie campaign could look like. Do I think that this needs to be refined? Absolutely. I think there's a lot of kinks that need to be worked out before we can call this the definitive zombie mode. And trust me, I've been calling it the definitive zombie mode for years. I was one of the biggest defenders of this game, and up until making this video, definitely was. I was ready to defend Outbreak Zombies tooth and nail, but again, stepping back and looking at it from an unbiased point of view, I see how flawed it is. I see that there's a lot more wrong with it than there is good about it. Will I still play it? Absolutely. Will I still enjoy it? Absolutely. But I can understand where people are coming from when they say they do not like this and they think it is a soulish cash grab. While I would not go that far, I do understand a lot more the disdain towards this mode now that I have looked at it from a new set of eyes almost. But anyways, that's just my opinion. Thank you everyone so much for watching. If you like this and want to see more, consider subscribing, sharing, and hitting the bell notification for more videos that I upload in the future. Again, I'm Rado Calrissian. God bless, and may the Force be with you.